Well, that's what submission is. That's what submission is that you
down that I think everybody is at some point deserving to receive love and to be even into marriage if they do aspire for marriage.
I believe that society shapes how we view things and how we look at things in our life.
Make your own bed. That's basically what Kevin Samuels is saying. His delivery is what people kind of throws people off. But basically,
aggressive or like violent, like where I think toxic masculinity is
no offense to men, that they also get this idea that, you know, women are just going to take care of them and everything is going to be like easy.
A domestic violence shelter, and he brought her up to be, you know, a $25,000.
Hell yeah, you need to judge in dating. It is what it is. You know, you can't not judge people just because you feel bad about it. Like, you need to know.
As much as I love my daughter, there are some harsh realities and some things that her mother and I teach her in order to help her to understand.
Like, I'm sure everyone knows a woman that, you know, had sex all the time.
What's going on? What's going on? Welcome back to the CKQ podcast. I am your host, Clement. And before we get into introducing the lovely panel, do me a favor, hit that like and subscribe button. And for today's topic, we're going to touch on a little bit of gentrification. It's been something that I think has been taking over this YouTube space a little bit. And not a lot of people have been pushing into that topic enough. So we're going to try a little to go into it today. For the panelists, we got John.
Hello, everybody. I'm John. You can find me on Black Wall Street Trading LLC on YouTube. You can also find me on John Cornelius 8770 on Instagram, or John Cornelius 8770 on Instagram.
And we got Danielle.
Hi, my name's Danielle. You can find me on My Sister's Keeper on YouTube or on Fly Nurse Mom Wife on Instagram.
And on that note, we are going to jump into the topic. You guys, you know what? You guys both know what gentrification is, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So for those who don't know, the process whereby the character of a poor urban area is changed by wealthier people moving in, improving houses and attracting new businesses, typically displacing current inhabitants in the process. Gentrification. So let's tackle it a little bit today. We'll start off with the first question to the panel. Like Darwinism, is gentrification a natural process? Like Darwinism, is gentrification a natural process? Danielle, I'm going to start with you.
I'm not sure if it's a natural process. I think it's something that's necessary if you want your area to get better. I don't think the people in that neighborhood necessarily know how to make it better. So if you want it to improve,
so
that's probably what'll happen.
Wouldn't that make it a little bit more natural?
I don't know. Every area don't get gentrified. So if natural meaning it happens everywhere, right?
No, natural means it was inevitably going to happen. And if somewhere like this is eventually going to get gentrified.
Right. I don't know if it's natural though, because I mean, every urban area doesn't get gentrified. Like, I don't know what qualifies the area to be gentrified. It couldn't be just that it's poor. It got to have some type of quality to it. So, I mean, I guess if your area got those qualities, then it is a natural selection. But I don't think it's just for every urban area that it will happen. So I'm not sure.
Okay. I got a different theory on that, but John, what are we saying?
All right, so it probably should be a natural process because as adults in the area age, then you would think that they would want to support the youth that are essentially the future.
What do you mean by that?
I mean, so it is the gentrification is how it's basically for the youth, improves the character of the youth. Mm-hmm. The older the adults are not really affected by it. When you say the character, now they can be affected by it, but they typically, as we know, gentrification, it affects the adults in the neighborhood adversely because they are moved out. There's a negative connotation, specifically in the Black community, toward gentrification. Specifically, and you and I touched on this in a private conversation, and I'm glad you're bringing it to the panel because I think we should, expound upon it. But when you look at who's going to have the greatest impact, your youth. Like, no one puts enough value in the youth. Hey, Nick, no one puts enough value in the youth. The youth are literally the future. If you teach them, if you improve their character, if you improve their financial awareness, if you improve their investment knowledge, then gentrification can indeed be a positive thing, because what happens is it becomes contagious. Anything that you want to be contagious and show, you need to do it with the kids. The kids who are seeking identity and seeking, if they buy into it, they're going to spread it amongst their peers. It's going to be a thing. So if you want their character to change, you need to make character change a thing, and their character will change.
So definitely you're on the side of it's more of a natural process.
Well, it should be a natural process.
It should be a natural process.
That's not, like I said, it's not how it's being portrayed. It should be a natural process. But for it to be a natural process, because the reason I say it should be a natural process, because gentrification is a form of evolving. Mm-hmm. But the gentrification as we know it is centered around a business idea. It is centered around better business, creating an advantageous position for oneself when you have money.
I mean,
your motives are not centered around making this community better.
That's essentially just multiplying your resources, though, right? I mean, we're breaking it down. Building businesses is just multiplying your resources. So wouldn't it still be a lot more natural?
Here's how it can be natural. And if you look at it, yeah, it is a natural process. And I'll shake it up from this perspective.
Let's see it.
What? We cannot kill each other to prove who is the fittest person. And I'm going to say the fittest man, because the man essentially is responsible for the household. So if you have not done your due diligence as a man and put yourself in the strongest position to flow with the change that's going on, the improvements when these investors that typically don't look like us come in to try and invest, you will be moved out from your home. But if you have done these things and you have put yourself in a very strong financial position, then you'll be able to deal with those, and you may even be able to become a part of it. This house is for sale now. You go down and buy it. You rent it out to another black couple. Because see, when we talked about this, places, the opposite right now, gentrification is the opposite of white flight, where a neighborhood is predominantly white, and then changes occur and blacks move into the neighborhood and white people move out. Well, think of it like this. This white person who moved out did not appreciate moving out. Maybe he had family that also moved out, and now they're in different cities and they're spread out. But he became very well off, and through investments and family money or whatever, he comes back in. He finds one house for sale, and he wants to rent it out. When you become a landlord, you can be very selective. You can actually be completely racist if you want to, because you do not have, nobody can make you rent your house out to whoever you don't want to. If you don't, you are not, you can be in a protected class all you want to, but a protected class is not protected when you can't prove what it is I'm thinking. I can always find something wrong with your application, or lie. If I think your application is going to be good, I can just lie and say, I have a deposit on it, and I don't have to show you anything. I don't have to prove anything to you. And then eventually we get a white couple in. I sell them the house. They redo the house. They increase the property value in the area.
What's the different point that you were saying, though? What's the different point that you were saying?
When?
Like, what's you said you were going to spin a different narrative.
I'm spinning it. And then you move it. No. And then they move out. But what if you were one of the black couples there that could actually go and just buy the house before this guy buys the house?
Agreed.
Because if you can react to your environment, see, when you look at it from an evolutionary perspective along those lines of Darwin, always survival of the fittest.
Of the fittest, correct. And that's why I believe.
And that doesn't mean I'm physically fit. I'm going to survive. No, you need to be financially fit.
Yeah, I mean, because we don't need muscle. Like, it's not like back in the day where you needed to be, the biggest, strongest. No, like now, power is financial. It's not.
Yeah,
it's not
how big my biceps are. It's how big is my wallet. Big bank take little bank. That's how that works.
Big bank take little bank. Exactly.
Big bank takes little bank.
Danielle, question for you: do you think gentrification is a good thing or a bad thing?
Both.
Which side do you lean more towards?
Neither.
Okay. What is the good thing about it?
The good thing about it is that you bring in money to an area that was impoverished.
Okay. The bad thing?
You're increasing the value there. That's good for whoever can afford to stay and, thrive in that environment.
Okay. And the bad?
The people that live there now who would like to be in a good area but can't afford it now have to move to another impoverished area. So their youth who actually needs that mindset to be changed, to be able to thrive in a area, to be able to get to that position, don't get the opportunity because since it affected their parents, they have to go because their parents have to go. So it's not necessarily getting to the youth that actually need the mindset change. It's getting to the youth that already have that mindset.
Yeah.
Well off enough. Then I guess it's more morally wrong than it is wrong.
But it doesn't have to be morally wrong. But you're gonna need black men in my generation and in your generation to work together and create a different narrative. I mean, for instance, in Detroit, how many, Danielle, in Detroit, I don't know if you know this, but in Detroit, there are a ton of houses that have been lost to tax liens and drugs and everything else. So, but Detroit is predominantly black.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a very high number of blacks that live in Detroit. Now, why aren't anyone stepping up and purchasing those tax properties for pennies on the dollar, remodeling them? Because if you had $50,000, you could purchase about 10 properties and remodel them with a grand total of about $60,000 out of pocket.
I think that the Black people that are aware of it and have the means to do it are doing it. It's just that it's since Detroit is owned, like, many people know about the housing market here and how many houses you can get for so few pennies. So we are not just competing against ourselves, we are competing against the world, because you don't just go and buy these homes, they go up for auction. Right. So in this auction, people who live here who heard about it are going with a few $1,000s, but then you can't get it because then you have an investor from China literally coming here and buying up lots of property, and then they want to sell the houses that are the worst off, like the burnt down ones, that it would take a whole lot of money, and then they want to steal. They probably got it for like $500, but they want to sell it back for $5,000. Where even though that's
they're gonna sell it back for way more than that.
$500,000.
Even no, they're selling them for about $5,000, and even though that's a small chunk of change to the person that wanted to get it for the cheaper price, that's still out of their reach, because then you gotta still do all this work. So it's eating into the money that you was gonna use to repair it.
Yeah, because I mean, when they doing that, so that when you're talking about investment, there's two positions that you can have when you're investing. You can have a short position, you can have a long position. And the Chinese that are coming in that you're speaking about, they do not care about having a long position because it is predominantly black. They want to come in and get a quick buck and have a short position. You understand what I'm saying? And so when you have a short position like that, no one is still not even taking advantage of that. I mean, yeah, $5,000 is a lot of money, but is it worth it?
I think Nick touched on something very important right here. Some of us don't even
not having the knowledge.
Yeah,
not seeking the knowledge.
Not seeking the knowledge. I mean, a lot of the people that are stuck in those situations. Again, I've been in those situations. Some people might call me privileged. I just think, yeah, I am a little bit, so I don't give a shit. But some of these people in these situations don't really seek for better.
Right,
I don't know if it's that they can't. Their mind is just not focused on that, or it's just their mind is probably focusing on surviving day after day. But unfortunately,
listen, you know what?
It doesn't stop.
Listen, man, I'm so tired of hearing that narrative.
What's that?
You just trying to survive, man. Come on, bro. Are you trying to survive when you out on Saturday and you spending money for no reason, and then you bought an outfit to go show off? Are you trying to survive then?
Maybe in the Jordans.
Like, not even the Jordans, man. If you really want, imagine this. What would happen? What would happen if all the women got together and said, the only thing we're going to do is marry and be with in any kind of way? And they really stuck to their guns. Like, you could not get sex from no woman. None. How would it be if they were only basing it off of the most financially fit man? Then what? You can go dressed up all you want to But it is completely against the law, and I'm not breaking the law for me to be with you because you're not financially fit. You have to first prove that you're financially fit. I wonder how the mindset would shift then. I wonder
That
how
would still be survival, though.
That
yeah, it
would
would still
That survival would change the course of men, I'm sure.
yeah.
But that's still giving a narrative of them having to survive.
I mean,
yeah, but they're gonna
life
adjust.
is all about survival, though. You mean you're gonna have to survive either way, one way or another. It's all about the motivation that you have. Now, if
And
a big driving factor for men is sex, and
that's a huge
you suddenly
motivator for
remove
men.
that, what's that?
Men, that's a huge motivator. A woman is the
Yeah,
strongest motivation for a man
that's it.
that there is. There's nothing stronger. Money is not even stronger than a motivator than a woman is. Not even money. Not even money. Money when a man goes out and gets money, he is thinking about the woman. You only got a handful of men who all they care about is money. Because they're out there.
A lot of the comfort that was created in modern times was for women. Because men can sleep in a fucking shoebox and be okay with it.
Yeah. Yeah.
You got some fans, bro. You got some fans.
What up, Stanley?
John coming in with a fresh cut, looking like a fresh plátano, bro. Killing it.
I don't know. I'm just, if you don't seek the knowledge, like that's not. There are a lot of black men that are in positions to where they can do something.
Yes.
You understand what I'm saying? Like, there's few and far in between. Like, a lot of us are in prison. That's true. We made bad choices, and the only reason I'm not in prison is because I didn't get caught, but I made a good choice. I left and went to the military. The choice was made for me. Okay, so that was my option. But you can't dwell on that. And that's not the rest. That's not the masses. That's not everybody else. At some point, they need to be the pioneers of change. If you seen your uncle be in prison, why are you wanting to go there too? So why don't you do something different? Ask the right questions. I was selling dope. That's why I went to prison, because that's the main thing. That's what a lot of black men are incarcerated for, either selling dope or incarcerated for robbery or child support.
Which is like the biggest joke one.
I would think that they don't do nothing different for the same reason women don't do anything different than they've seen their mothers do, because you don't know any different. You haven't seen any different. I remember I was about, let's say like 16. My mom got me a car. We heard that they was hiring at the airport. So me and my brother, 2.5 years older than me, got in the car. We went and got his friend. We go out to the airport. When we was on our way back home, I knew how to get back home because I had been outside our neighborhood. My brother's friend knew how to get back home because he had been outside our neighborhood. My brother didn't know how to get home though. Like he had never been that way to know how to get back home. So he didn't know, he don't really know anything outside that neighborhood. And if you don't know anything other than what you see, how could you want something that you don't want? Just like with the sex, when we were saying, do people who get divorced try everything? They only know what they know.
Yeah, they try everything that they know.
So I think that's why it's important to have like the mentorship program, to have like different camps. You have to be able to expose these people to different environments to let them know that there is something different. Otherwise, if all they see is what they see, what are they supposed to think?
Right.
Are you supposed to just pop up out the blue and be like, I mean, and some people do, but that's not normal. So just, I'm going to try something there. I'm going to go somewhere. It has to be something else.
I mean, most of the time, there are people that do that. I would say most of us here on the panel have done that. Well, all of us here on the panel have done that. We ventured outside of our comfort.
Because I seen different though. I was smart. So my school, every school that I've been in since elementary, multiple times a year would send me to different states because I was intelligent and I had to go represent that school.
But you were intelligent. So that's what I'm saying. You were intelligent. You were going to do that without the school showing you different things. You were always going to look for difference. We've had multiple conversations, and you say like yourself, I don't think like most women. Like I don't care about a good majority of things that women are supposed to care about.
But that's because that's my experience. Had I not had those experiences, my outlook would be different. I don't know what the outlook would be because I don't have that.
True.
But I think different and I act different and I move different because I was exposed to other things. It wasn't, I don't know that if without those things that I would have thought about what it looked like outside my neighborhood.
Okay.
I don't know that without those things, I would have saw Black people well off and been like, oh, I can do that too. Even when I was leaving to go to college, my cousin, before I left, was like, hey, don't come back here married to no white man. Like, what? I don't think that if it's not something that you've seen, you might not think that it's something that exists.
Yeah. I mean, it's funny. I was actually talking to a buddy of mine today, and I was telling him, even before going into like real estate, trying to buy properties, I had to look at, I went and tried to find the information about real estate on YouTube. And I found Graham Stephan. And I watched a good amount of his videos, talked to a buddy of mine who was also getting into real estate. And that's when it dawned on me, like, this guy's the same age I am. So what's stopping me from being able to do it? I mean, but that curiosity was still there. Like, I knew I wanted to do something. But once I saw someone of my same age or even younger did it, then it's just kind of like, oh, I could do that as well. But
you seeking out better didn't come from you, though.
What's that?
You seeking out better didn't come from you, though. Your parents not from here, right?
No.
So they sought out better.
So
that's what you saw. So that's what you knew to do.
Mm-hmm.
That didn't come from
purpose.
Yeah.
That was the whole purpose.
So your perspective from a person that was born and raised here isn't the same, because your whole purpose of being here, the whole purpose of your parents bringing you here was to do better. Whereas the people that are here weren't brought here to be better. We were brought here to be slaves. When we tried to come out, they bomb us. They steal from us. Even to this day, money is not necessarily power for us, because there are still places that even if you have the money and credit score, you cannot go. You cannot go and buy a home anywhere you want.
Nope.
We have Bablo Island here. When it went under, Michael Jackson, who was a renowned artist, got all the money in the world, tried to buy that park to open it back up, and he got denied. Yes. So for Black people, money is not power all the time.
I'm going to venture out and say I think this is a different point in time that we're talking about now, though.
But even in this point in time, it's still places that us as Black people, no matter what your credit score or how much money you have, you cannot go.
Here's the thing.
They still exist. There are still sundown cities.
Here's the thing. Okay. I will never, ever say that race is going to stop me from doing what I'm going to do.
And that's my point. And that
will not happen.
That's all.
It has not happened. I've never experienced it, and I won't experience it.
That's it.
Is that the case? Will I reach a level to where I will run into it? Probably. I can shoot around it. I can work around it. But I have a very strong sense of myself, of who I am. That's why when I'm on here, I say things that other people want to say, but they're too embarrassed and just can't say it. Why? Because I don't care what somebody else thinks about me, because it's not going to change my opinion, and you're not going to pay my bills. And how I see it is how I see it. And until you present empirical evidence that can change my mind, I'm not listening to it. So with that being said, I don't have to go out and buy this particular area. But what I do want to do is I can buy other things where I'm not going to get a lot of pushback. and I will be able to compete with that. But we're not doing that. And one of the main reasons none of this is being successful is because blacks have no identity. We do not have our own identity. We have it individually based on how you were raised, but as a whole and whole,
As a unit.
with a unit, black people have no identity. And I want you to think and wrap your mind around this concept. If you were stripped from a country, you were brought to a foreign country. No, you are not from here. Everything you think you know as a black person born in America is not a part of your heritage. It is not a part of your culture. The things that I see black people go agreeing with, this new way of living, and all these funny relationships that should not exist in society and nature, that is not a part of your culture, period. Africa spoke out against it a bunch of times. That's the motherland. So only thing you know is what you see here in a predominantly European country, and you're not European. So if you don't know how you're supposed to move, you're moving outside of your natural element. You are seeking the approval of someone whose culture you don't identify with.
So then,
it's not your culture.
What are black people supposed to do here then? Let me ask you that. I'm gonna ask you that, and then we're gonna move on to the next question.
Try to find an identity.
The next question plays into what we're talking about.
Okay, all right. You gotta first find an identity, man. You gotta first attempt to find an identity so that you can stop patterning your moves. If you keep seeking the acceptance of people who don't want you to be accepted, that's redundant. Because now all I'm doing is dangling a carrot in front of your face. I can still manipulate you. You can't separate yourself from your captors because you're too busy trying to impress them. You're too busy trying to move and think like they do. You're too busy trying to give yourself a European look, being ashamed of your heritage, being ashamed to wear your hair just the way it is.
Hold up, we got someone coming up on the panel. Bronze Bird, my man, how you doing?
Peace. What's going on? Good conversation.
Yeah, man. Listen, I was supposed to send out a video, but yeah, my live will now be Tuesday at 8:30 p.m. Eastern. So I'm glad you were able to still pop in. The other day I saw you drop that comment in there, and at least I'd like to give you an explanation why.
Okay, great. Because I was confused. I was like, wait a minute.
I saw
me off.
Well, what's going on, my man?
Oh, not much. I'll jump in after the brother continues. Go ahead, brother.
John, you were done?
Oh yeah, no, I was done because I didn't want to get too far over into, because you said that what we're talking about feeds over
it's
into.
Exactly.
So I can pick back up. We got it.
Bronze Bird, what are we talking, bro?
I mean, look, I think of it this way. I want to break this down to two parts, right? So I think the whole entire gentrification thing was a governed thing that they was planning for decades. My philosophy and the research I've done so far, they ultimately wanted to make into smart cities and, basically get rid of the concept of suburbs, reverse it, you know what I mean, to keep people around each other and stuff like that. It's a big rabbit hole I won't really discuss in detail, but just basically to have like the idea of like urban cities be the natural place where everybody congregates, since there's all the jobs, since there's all the transportation and all this other stuff, make it more city-like. That's the first concept. Secondly, I don't know if you're relating gentrification as a way of racism being into it. Is that something that's involved in it? Or?
You know what? Since you touched on the next topic so well,
oh, wow.
I'm going to allow you to stay for the next question. All right, so here we go. Next question to the panel and Ron Bird. Is gentrification race-based? Is gentrification race-based?
Well, Honestly, it's more or less like one of those type of things. Like I used to think it's always race based. Um, it's dependent upon those who can reach the area the fastest. So, okay, for example, I live in New York, right? So everybody has a concept that usually when it's a so-called black neighborhood, it's going to be usually so-called white people always moving into the neighborhood, and they come in with their whole ideals and their quote-unquote
It's actually
culture.
a lot of Jewish.
Right. Yeah, well, and especially when it comes to the Jewish, because there's the concept that there's a rough relationship between Jewish and so-called black people. So that right there is already tension within inside of itself. Now, is it race based? It's a two-way street to me. Now, I know I can't really always just say one thing. I can be very indecisive, okay? But this is the thing. Gentrification in New York, I've been able to see it in different ways. First of all, in New York, it's just been said the other day, Latinos is the fastest growth population in New York. Okay,
and wonder why?
Huh?
Yeah, wonder why.
Yeah, also you're dealing with. I've seen, especially neighborhoods in Brooklyn. Gentrification in certain parts of Brooklyn is Asian people moving over there, which usually was previously Italians, previously so-called white people. So the idea of gentrification being race-based, there is an element to it which I do believe is true, but then at the same time, it's neglect. You understand?
You're sitting on the fence, my
friend.
I
like I like where he's going with this.
But this is why I say it's neglect. In terms of so-called black people, we don't get into politics much, right? And more or less, I'm at fault for that because I'm pretty much done with just everything. I just was like, it's whatever. I'm just gonna live my life the way I need to do, and I know I need to be a better man. At the end of the day,
we're very all about ourselves and what we want. We don't think about the unit anymore.
Because I don't mean to, but I tried like that before, and it's always the same conversations. Oh, we need affordable housing, and we need this, and we need that, and it's like, no. Why is it embarrassing to see 40 to 50-year-old brothers that's walking around with WIC cards and walking around with food stamps? Why, like, you have the opportunity to make more money. You understand? Like, we all, like, you have to not think of yourself as poor. You have to look at yourself as like, I'm starting from this point in life and I'm only going to elevate from there. And most of our people stay stagnant. So they don't want to move. There's so many ways you can get businesses off of the government. They don't even tell you that, yo. And right, Spanish people do that.
Hold on.
Okay, my fault.
I'm going to let John jump in real quick. Go ahead.
When you listen, I like this road that he's going down because I keep hearing, woe is me. Woe is me. Y'all, I live in the deep South. The deep South, Alabama. I lived 1 mile from the Highway 280 bus burning. There is a Klan headquarters here. You understand? And I live in one of the most I live in the richest area in Alabama, which is Madison County. The average income is $89,000, and we got plenty of black people. There are plenty of black businesses here, but you know what the biggest difference is? A mindset. They got a whole reality show that's shot here in this city in Alabama that it gets a lot of views. Okay, but the mentality here is far different from places where I was born. See, the woe is me. The woe is me. I can't. The way I ain't got his foot on my neck. I can't find a way. It's because it's foot on my neck. Got a whole city that's just crepit. It's falling to pieces. No, that city has a black mayor now. Okay, that city has a black mayor now. Because that newer generation is starting to see, well, nobody's got their neck. Nobody's got their foot on my neck. Nobody has their foot on your neck. You are just what you're doing is you are making an excuse to be a failure and you can't get out your own damn way. That's the problem. You can't get out your way. When you learn how to first get out your way, then you can start making moves. With technology, internet, research is simple, real easy. You Google everything else. Why don't you Google how to get out this situation? Why don't you YouTube a video on how to do this or how to do that? Any idea that you can think about, you can Google it and you can research it on YouTube and see. Ain't no one has their. I saw a comment. My homegirl shared a video with me and I watched the video, and it was Kevin Samuels about the 60 hours. The comments were atrocious. I've never seen so many weak men in my entire life with the comments that they were making. I tried working 60 hours a week. I was the most miserable ever in my life, being away from my family all this time. I can't stand a person that's a victim, man. You have a victim mindset. When you have a victim mindset, you're gonna always be a victim. You gotta have a winner mindset.
And that's why I agree with you when and that was my same exact thinking, which is when you say I don't like the idea that there are places that Black people can't go to. I don't subscribe to that mentality. I'm going to go there and I'm going to find a way to thrive there. That's just what I want to do. I'm going to move somewhere where I want to be, and no one's going to stop me from being there. They could try, but they're not going to stop me from being there.
And that's where it links what we're talking about back into evolution, survival of the fittest. When you place yourself in a financially fit position, you can move better than the person who has not. It's hard to stop you.
Yeah.
But our mindset is focused on fancy cars, fancy chains, fancy watches. Hey, look at me, sisters. Hey, look at me. Hey, look at me. People who have real money, they don't have fancy cars. They have 12 and 13-year-old cars, 14-year-old cars. You know why? Because they understand that that's a depreciating asset.
Yep.
They understand that if I buy it when it's 9 years old, I can drive it till it turns 17 and turn around and I've only lost 15% of my money versus 50% trying to buy a new car. I got a spanking brand new car off the showroom floor. You want to be able to say that.
Now, or even the worst thing now, which is people constantly leasing.
Because they want to drive a brand new car.
A brand new car. You see
well, leasing is not a bad thing if you're doing it under your business name, because then it's not a law.
Business, yes, but then how many people are doing it under a business though?
Not
hardly. Yeah, well, you. I mean, come on,
you, but there's not many.
Yeah, but stop the cat, right?
Stop the cat.
Yeah, I was just saying how it could be not a loss.
If she's doing it under her business and she's writing it off 100%, not only that, she can write the difference of the depreciation by filing the 138 or file the 126 or 138 IRS form and depreciate all of it, or she get 146 and she can depreciate it over the next 5 years. I mean,
that's knowledge.
Of course. And then if her business is not reimbursing her for mileage, she can, if you own a business, you should not reimburse yourself for mileage. You should use it as a tax break. And depending on how much income you're going to report to the IRS on Schedule C. So then you can get a bigger deduction. If you own a business, you should be getting anywhere between $6,000 and $10,000 back on your tax returns. I'm just saying. But that's neither here nor there. But
Danielle, you want to chime in on this?
You said what? Did I want to chime in?
Yeah, chime in.
I'm just dancing to all the knowledge because but that people don't know it, and the people that do know it aren't willing to share it.
I'm
listen,
willing to share it.
I don't think it's so much willing to share it because it's not like you understand that leasing under your business is a good idea. It's not that you're not willing to share it, but
no one's willing to ask.
No one's asking.
I don't wait for people to ask me stuff. When I hear a person talking about something, I just start talking because it is a real thing that people don't share. I do know to ask, but but people who I do know that have the information is not always willing to share. That is a real thing.
Mm-hmm. That's true.
But
And
see,
so
the
when
difference.
I come around somebody who says they want, I don't even wait. Like, okay, so right now in Michigan, we got free schooling. If you are 25 and you don't have a degree, you get to go to school for free. So when I'm at work and I'm sitting idle and I see a young lady or a young man, I ask them, how old are you? You got a degree? When you going back to school? I force the conversation on people because I want to tell people about it.
Yeah.
And you know what
I
I
don't wait
get?
for people to ask me.
And how many times you get 19 excuses as to why they can't?
Not often. When I
Hey,
ask them, like, how old are you, or why haven't you went back to school? They first thing be like, well, I don't got the money for it. But like, man, you know they giving away free school right now. They be like, what? Where? What's the name of the program? Then I tell them.
People don't know.
Some of them go right then at that moment and get on the phone and look it up.
well, that's good.
I mean,
That ain't been
once
my
we talk
experience.
about that, once the person sees that I'm open and I'm willing to share knowledge, most people go to the next thing. Like, yeah, man, because I was thinking about this and I was thinking about that. I'd be like, oh, well, you can do that. You can get your EIN for free. You can go and do this. It only costs $20 to start a business. I freely give information. I bring the conversation up.
Mm-hmm.
I don't wait for the conversation to come to me because I wouldn't affect as many people. And so since I'm open and willing to just freely share the information and force the conversation on people, I'm agency. When I go to different buildings, those people seek me out again. If they see me, they're like, hey, I met you a year ago. Do you remember me? You probably don't remember me, but I remember you. And you was telling me about this. You seem really intelligent. And I've been waiting to see you again. And can I get your number? Or they'll tell me what they're thinking about now because I'm a person that they know that if they tell something, if I have the information, I'm willing to share it.
Mm-hmm. Agreed. But
So,
I don't think I actually asked you the question. Is gentrification race-based?
Yes.
Yes?
Yes.
You think gentrification is race-based?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. In what direction?
In the direction that races cluster together. And like John said, Black people don't have an identity, so it's hard for us to cluster together.
Exactly.
We don't know how to cluster because we have been taught to separate. We have been taught to compete. We have been taught to not trust. And it is possible to break the cycle, but I don't know how. I was actually just telling John that if I went on to get my doctorate, that's what my doctorate would be in, and how to change the condition of Black people in America because it's necessary.
Oh, I've got something that me and Clement working on, and we're gonna start. We're gonna do something.
Listen, y'all. Like my thing is, when that conversation goes on, I can't help but I think that a good amount of so-called Black people think automatically the hood. And my thing is, if I had the money and all that other stuff right now, I would move to a very upcoming or a very rich Black town, right? My thing about it is the mindset. Listen. My thing is, what I understand about the hood, it's usually stagnancy. Nobody really wants to do the work in the hood. You understand? Politicians will come around and be like, vote for me, and this, that, and the third, but they go to those meetings talking about survival stuff. Why is that? Because they're just trying to survive. They're not really trying to elevate. So if I go to a community, which I already know, a bunch of towns where I live that has successful so-called Black people, that's where I'm going to move. You know what I mean? Because they understand.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah, go ahead.
So now let me put you in a scenario real quick that it's you and just your mom, okay, and your two brothers, or you know what, you're a little brother and a little sister. You guys don't have a car. You still got to go to school across town. You still got to get money for a bus. Your mom works 2 jobs, so she could barely give you any kind of money to do that. You remember, a lot of these people are living below like the poverty or at the poverty line, or is it below? Like
at or below,
or at or below.
At or below.
Yeah.
So a lot of these people don't have I don't even want to say they don't have the time. They don't really have the luxury of saying like, oh, you know what? Let me think about what kind of president I want to vote for.
I mean, yeah, that's true, but like again, like
I mean, I'm not saying it's right. I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm saying that a lot of some of the times right now, I think we on the panel are above a certain threshold of income that we don't really have to we can sit freely and think, but there's some people that don't have that luxury. They have to constantly they have to be hustling. They're always hustling, just to try to get their next meal. It's kind of like get the money and then use it right away. Get the money and spend it. Get the money and spend it. And then, so what Danielle's saying, sometimes it's good to slow those people down and tell them, hey, listen, just go hungry for a day, just so that you can pay this off, so that now you don't have, that's one less bill you have to worry about. And that adds extra money into your pocket. Not everyone learns that.
Well, I agree. I'm not gonna say that that's wrong, but like, we have an understanding that now there's full resources for a lot of stuff, especially online. So my thing about it is like, I do understand the circumstances, because I actually know people who don't really have time to hang out and chill or be able to sit down and think, because they have to think about how they're gonna get on a train or the bus in the morning. Sometimes they have to jump the turnstile just to get on the train and stuff like that. So I understand, right? But at the same time, the mindset is the real thing that I always challenge. That's all it is. Because the thing about it is, it's always a mindset. Look, I could sit up there and say right now, like, I didn't understand exactly certain things I wanted to do. Like, I was like I was sitting back in about what? I think 2012, 2013, depressed. Not even understanding what the hell life was. Like, I was just like, oh, well, I'm just going to sit here and this, that, and third, but I said I wanted to go to college. I could have sat back and said, well, maybe I'll try next year and this, that, and third. Mind you, I already went to college before then. I had to leave that college because of whatever circumstances, and I decided to leave. I could have sat back and said, I will stay at this retail job, make some min-wage money or make some crappy-ass hours, and just leave it at that. Or just be like, I'm never going to go back to school because I ain't got the money. And I said, no, I want to go back to school. I want to go ahead and get my bachelor's, right? I want to go ahead and work in this, that, and third while I do it. Because not only was I excited to go ahead and get back into education, also socialization, getting to meet new people, right? So the thing about it is, yes, I understand, but you have to also talk about the mindset. It's just that you have a good amount of people who feel comfortable being stagnant.
Yep.
And they like the world is yours, yo. Like like for instance, you like certain people will never leave their own borough. They will never leave their own neighborhood. They will never leave where they live. They will stay where they're at. Me, I travel all around the damn state to go to places I've never been to before. Whatever money I have in my pocket. Hey, look, listen, the train go there, the bus go there, or if I don't have a car, hey, look, listen, what transportation goes there? Why is that? Because my mindset says the world is mine. I can go wherever I want. So the mentality is, if you put that into the functionality of people who want to learn and have that type of mindset, those are the people that's going to move up. And I'm not against, and I'm sorry to be long-winded, I'm not against brothers and sisters that want to do the political work in their own communities. I actually love that. But it's just understanding the reality of the situation. You know? That's just saying.
Speaking some big facts, bro. You got what the funk shooting shots at you, man. Bro, you drove off the road, but I think you're back on. I'm stoned, but I've lost. I'm stoned, but you lost.
But I'm rocking with you. But I'm rocking with you again.
I lost him.
But so with on the race base,
yes.
Look at the clustering. Like Danielle said, look at the clustering. But look who you don't see. Here's what you see. Most cities, you can correct me. You can challenge this. Where are all the blacks clustered? Raise your hand. Don't nobody all speak at once. Where?
The urban city, or like the
no, sir. No, sir. Let's get specifically. Come on. It starts with an H, it ends with a D, and it's got two vowels. Where are they at?
The ghetto.
Exactly. The hood. Okay. That's where we're clustered, right? But people like the Italians, they're in the middle of a city, downtown. The property value is high. They own or have a piece of one of those buildings worth millions, or the rent is going to be about $4,000, $15,000 if it's zone commercial, or $20,000 a month, and they've got a piece of that. Chinatown, all the Chinese live there. Like you can literally go to New York and Chinatown, and you probably need to speak English to really move around down there. I mean, not English, but Chinese, Mandarin,
Mandarin.
to really move around down
They
there.
look at you crazy if you speak English.
Exactly. And then that's like a little China, right? Then you go to the Jewish community. Everybody's Jewish. Then you got the whites, everything else. Then over here in this rundown, nothing worth nothing. Nobody wants to live there. Worst schools ever. You got the blacks.
So, all right.
And then we're fighting amongst each other, and nobody wants to put their money together to do nothing.
But that's what I'm saying. That's the problem. It's not so much that it's like all the black people were forced into this area. Because again,
that's just what we do.
That's what we do. Yeah.
That's how we collect.
We
That's how
congregate
we
with who we know.
coagulate.
We congregate with who we know, what's familiar to us. So
Mhm.
that's a good thing, but we aren't trusting each other. We don't trust each other
at all.
So that's why I don't know. I don't think it's race based, but we're all clumped up into this area where we're all ready to shoot each other, whereas all other races are clumped up together and they're all trying to find a way to help each other.
Well, it's contradiction if you're going to talk about so-called black people, because they only become territorial when they see the sight of someone that doesn't look like them. And the only exception to the rule is usually where I'm from, so-called Hispanics. And it depends, because even we know that Hispanics can be rude towards us in certain circumstances. But this is the thing.
Wasn't like a big gang fight between in Washington Heights?
Bro, I don't know why people think.
I mean, it's always it. I mean, but look, wherever you're gonna see a sighting of black people, you're gonna see a sighting of Hispanic people. So I mean, it's just like when black people argue with black people, it's just like, okay, you know what I mean? It's just something natural that happens. But I'm saying when we get into the conversation of race based is because naturally we become territorial. It's just like if I was to go to the suburbs right now and it is a main population of so-called white people, they're gonna be territorial towards me. Why is that? Because they're not used to seeing me there. So it's the same concept. It's kind of like, who are you to be coming in the neighborhood? And of course, because we don't have a real we don't really like so-called white people. Right, we just be like, why are you in my neighborhood, trying to go ahead and move us out again and redline us like you did in the 1940s, or if I got the date wrong, let me know. But that's the thing. That's only the time that race-based conversation comes in, because we're naturally territorial, as anybody of any nationality that mainly focuses the community is. Now, going to the whole conversation about blacks themselves, yeah. When you live in a whole entire environment where people don't have no rules or functionality and they're just doing whatever they want, of course, there's going to be this whole entire understanding of not working together because they don't care. I mean, look, listen, what happened in that place Harlem last week? That guy Alpo just got shot, and he's an infamous drug dealer, and people was plotting on him for decades. You understand? They was plotting on that dude for decades. The thing about it is, he did bad in his neighborhood, and then the fact of the matter, people who still out there wanted to cause drama with him, and he got killed, right? So my thing about it is, going to this conversation, no, redlining is not over. I don't think redlining is over. It's like history has a string.
Finish your thought.
Okay, sorry. So what I'm saying is, if you're talking race-based, that's only because it's territorial. But in the people themselves, especially what the brother said earlier of not really having a culture and not being able to identify who we really are, everything is so discombobulated. So of course there's going to be chaos because we don't have a structure, we don't have a code. So
we have nothing. We don't have any of what he just said. We don't have a code. We don't have structure. We don't have, the old heads are not providing any information to the younger ones.
Yep.
Then you got the dads are either being incarcerated or placing themselves in positions to be incarcerated. So the black woman is raising boys by herself, and the boys are attaching themselves to other families, gangs, and that's what's going on. And none of this is cliche. That's just the way it is.
That's just what it happened.
That's just the way it is. You can say it, you can think it all you want to, but I see it every day because I am constantly in the hood.
So, Nikas, so you think redlining is over with?
No, redlining has already taken its toll. Redlining is the reason you have hoods. That's how hoods came about, through redlining. They specifically lowered the property value in the areas where dead white people did not see investment opportunities, which goes back to saying why gentrification to me is race based. Now, what I'm
I'm sorry to break in when you're talking, but not only did they do that, once they did that, they make it so you can't get home loans in those areas to increase the value, because
Right.
the value of your home is how you get funding to make your schools better.
And it's based
but people
on,
don't know how to increase the value of your school to get a better education to pull you out.
Right.
So yeah.
Yeah. So the reason that is race based because it's all you've ever seen it. I've never seen gentrification and I've never seen it be positive, and I've never seen it where it was not race motivated. It has always been done to improve this group of people who's willing to go through it, and it pushes blacks out, and in some cases Latinos out. It just moves them out the way, moves them right on out the way. You're not improved if you've got all this money, right? And it doesn't take a rocket scientist to know that the reason that the kids in this area have score lower, they have less opportunities to obtain a good education, is because the schools suck. So if you really wanted to look at gentrification to improve this area, first thing you'll start with is school, not houses. Schools. That's the first thing you'll start with. It's less expensive. It's a tax write-off. There's a lot of other benefits, but that's not going to really benefit my pockets but a little bit. What really benefits my pockets, if I start buying up these damn houses and investing in them houses, then flipping them, and now I've got a neighborhood where the average house is $400,000 a year. I mean $400,000 instead of $185,000 or $200,000. And guess who cannot live there? This caliber of people. Old historic districts. You have to meet with a board, and I don't care what your credit score is. It can be an 850. You can't move in there unless that board approves you. My mother lives in a historic district. She's never had so much as a parking ticket. And yeah, her credit score is way up there, and she's also a director for the city. So everybody knows she's a prominent figure. Everyone knows who she is. So she was approved right away. But we were the only, you mean to tell me in a city with over 300,000 some people, 100,000 of them are black, she the only person that could get approved to live there? Because she was the only black person that lived there. And then she had a friend who was an engineer for NASA. She bought a house over there. Now it's 2 black people that live there. She's been there for 20 years.
So what do you think?
What I'm telling you is they keep you out by the way they keep you out. You're either going to be cream of the crop or they not letting you in, like period. Like, and there is a way to keep you out. Thanks, Japrice.
You know,
so you got to know how to move, man.
I still have a hard time believing
black
that.
Kids. Listen, when I'm the decision maker, I can keep whoever I want out. I know how to go around the laws. I know how to do all that. First of all, I'm gonna school the whole panel on something. A business, the protected classes does not affect any business. It does, but most businesses that have less than 15 employees, there ain't much you can do to them. Go talk to an EO lawyer and see what he says. I don't have to hire women if I don't want to. I don't have to hire blacks if I don't want to. If that was my thing, if I was a white guy and I didn't want to hire black, I don't have to do none of that. Long as I have less than 15 employees, you can picket, you can protest, you can fall out in the street, you can run naked down the street for all I care with your butt on fire. If I don't want you there, you can't come there, and you and nobody else can make me not do it. Can't do it. Can't force it. You can go to the courts until you broke. With most lawyers won't even go there. First thing they're gonna ask you is how many employees do they have? If it's less than 15, you fighting a losing battle. So in most of these boards who make that decision, guess how many people they have on the board? It's way less than 15. You can believe that. And they write certain and then they cater it to things that you just cannot do. Like they say, you can never have been arrested. That's a guideline. Who does it affect? Who is it going to affect most, Clement? Who? Blacks. Okay.
Yeah.
You must have an income that meets $100,000 in your household a year. How many black families meet that income? Not very many, because most black men,
not even married white families meet that.
No, over here the average is like 89,000. Like, and that's just one house. That's a single house.
Single
it's
house,
over
yeah.
100 and something with together.
Wait, hold on.
Like,
You just said the total income for a house needs to exceed over 100,000.
yeah, the average here for a single person house is $89,000. So together it's like 170. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. The average home of the average house income for a married couple here is over 100 and some thousand. Well over. But I'm talking about to move in these special areas. I'm just giving you an example. That's how it's done. I tailor the rules to meet the qualifications. We call it's qualifications to where the statistics don't match you. I just use the statistics against you.
So Caprice is they can meet it if they stop spending money on nonsense. The thing
And
is,
that's right.
That's part of it. But what John was saying is that if they don't want you there, they're going to find a way to keep you out of there. So
but look at who
no matter how much you tailor your spending, you're still going to be kept out.
Well, it's screwed on two sides, right? Because what John is saying, it seems as if it's like those are the rules and that's how I'm going to do it, and it could do it in a very subconscious way where it is actually racist. But at the same time, it's kind of like pulling at your strings, like, oh well, you don't earn $100,000. And I'm not saying because you're black, you just don't earn $100,000. But knowing the statistics of what it is, they know that they can get you with that. And if you have a record, and I know that. Yeah, and I know that to be true. Like I've heard many stories on that.
But see, here's the thing: you go back to it, and they will accept the black person when you start doing that, and you fill it out. Now here is a power couple. Black engineer, work at NASA, black school teacher. The engineer can cover by himself, makes over $100,000 a year. Teacher, she's went and got her master's. She makes $60,000 a year. So they had 160. Neither one of them never been arrested. Check. Credit score high. Check. They're black, but guess what? They meet all your qualifications. Now you have to let them in. And we are willing to let you in. You know why we're willing to let you in? Because you are essentially one of us. And we will tolerate you. Not accept you, but we will tolerate you. Do not be fooled by acceptance from tolerance. There's two totally different things. You start getting too personal and they'll show you you're not accepted. You're only tolerated. But at least we can sleep peaceful at night. And you're not one of those jokers riding around here playing that bookity shit. That's how they talk. With your pants hanging out.
In other words, the standards.
Yeah. Meek says white supremacy always changes the rules to fit them and always against us. That's their purpose.
Exactly. But here's the thing. As a Negro, stop thinking like a nigga and play the game.
You have to compete.
That's my point. And that's what I really that's really a lot of what my mindset is, and I think all of you guys as well. You got to play the game. You have to
play the game.
If you want to get anywhere, if you want to make any kind of change, you have to play the game. You're gonna have to cut your hair for a little bit of time. You're gonna have to do all the things that you do not want to do for a bit of time. Anyone who's got money now had to kiss ass early on.
Well,
Like that's just
It's not
I'm
even
gonna say
about
that. I'm
kissing
gonna
ass.
say
It's
no, no,
about
no.
moving, bro. It's
I'm
how you
gonna say
move.
this: the victimization mindset goes out the window. In which the problem with a good amount of our people is they like to use the race first narrative. When I go
Exactly.
outside, I don't use that, right? I don't use that. You know, my whole entire philosophy is I'm gonna get to where I need to be, not because of the color of my skin, not because of where I come from, just because of my personality and how I move. Because when you have that mindset that you can talk to anybody, they're gonna love you. Why is that? Because they don't see you as a threat. They don't see you as trouble. Now I can go back and say, I can go back to the hood and be like, oh, motherfucker, this and NIGGA, this, that, and the third, and blase, blase, blah, and talking the whole colloquial that I usually talk in. But then I know how to go ahead and code switch and have a conversation with them and not seem like a quote unquote Oreo about it. This is still authentically me at the end of the day, but I know exactly what languages to use and how to move when it comes to certain parties of people, not based on race, because you can never make me intimidated by a so-called white person, so-called Asian, or anybody else. I can never be intimidated by you. Nothing about you makes me intimidated. All I know is at the end of the day, I'm moving up where I want to be until I'm happy and satisfied with myself. That's the number one mission. God told me that. I gotta drop down. But nice conversation.
All right.
Ron Bird, thanks for coming up, man. I really appreciate you listening.
Hey, I want to touch on something that he touched on. I like what he said. If you listen here, one of the things that we have got to get past is how is this whole keeping it real. You keep it 100 with your close friends. Fuck that shit when you trying to move up, bro. Nigga, you better fake that shit till you make it.
You fake it.
Yeah, you fake it, nigga. I ain't trying. You need to be a fraud.
I mean,
you understand me?
Ego has no place in business.
Hell no.
Ego has no place when it comes to you. You're trying to move up the ladder. You're trying to move up in your job. Until you're on your own business, ego has no. Honestly, even if you're on your own business, ego has no place there.
Bro, it has no place, bro. Like I went back. You just said something, and it triggered another thought. When I was looking at the post, this dude talking about he didn't want to work 60 hours a week. And talking about, let me tell you something, not working 60 hours a week, my boy, and you talking about opening your own business, been there, done that, and had a successful business from scratch. I worked 120, 130 hours a week. You work way more owning your own business than you do for working for somebody else, bro. Now, but it feels good. You don't realize it. Because even though I worked to maybe like past midnight, because I've had tax documents I had to prepare, I had to check my numbers, make sure they were right, all this other stuff. Oh, but I can come in tomorrow when I want to, if I do want to come in at all. That's the difference. And there's nobody I have to call. There's nobody I have to ask. That's just what's going down. I will call up there and then tell, for me in my business type, I would tell the mechanic which tickets I needed him to go ahead and clear, and I could run it from my house on my laptop because I can see what tickets come in and what tickets have not been cleared, and I'm not going to be in there today. That's how owning your own business works. But if you're not willing to put the work in, then that's not going to work for you. It's not going to work for you.
We're dealing with also a generation of kids that, everybody's a winner. So if it doesn't come easy, then we don't really want to. But let's touch on this. Neek, if you have time, please call in. Would love to hear you say a lot of these points. There's always race, bro. You can fool yourself all you want. But I bet white
you can get around that.
Race.
And you can always move around it. Because you know what I like when you're dealing with somebody that's racist? I know exactly how to be. The exact opposite of what they expect. Yeah. And I can get in. That's why I've always had good jobs. That's why I've always I've networked with millionaires. They were white. They weren't black. They were white. That's who taught me. That's who first taught me about investing. That's who taught me how to buy tax properties. That's who taught me everything that I know. And they were racist. And I know they were racist. But guess what? I was separated from everybody else because I separate myself. I single myself over here. I do it from the way I carry myself. I do it from the skill set that I have. I had a very special skill set. And a white man is not going to let any kind of feelings about race get in the way of his money. You can believe that. That's why it was cotton plantations, because it was money. And I will have you treat you like a dog, but I'll tolerate you so I can get my money.
Green is the only color that matters.
And when you have a skill set and you've been separated from the masses, you can negotiate. He said, man, I heard all about you. We need an F&I manager up here. And I know you're good at closing. I said, absolutely, but I don't work for pennies. Well, we used to pay D. I said, I don't care what you pay D. D is not me. D does not have my skill set. You better ask around about me. And this is what I'll take. I'll take $6,000 every 2 weeks, plus bonuses of 10% of gross profit. And any bonuses on the back end, 100% mine. I'm not splitting it with the company. Then we ended up negotiating a 75-25 on the back end. 75 for me, 25 for him, but on warranty sales, 100%. Deal. Sign the deal. Shake on it, bam. And I get a demo. Any car I want. Any car I want. After I put 4,000 miles on, I give it back to you, come back in. So we do that. So we negotiate that. While I'm there.
That's why I just don't pay attention to race, honestly.
I mean, this dude is white. Like one day he made me so mad because I used insurmountable, right? I said, well, the reason the guy didn't close is because with you and your son teaming up on him, you placed him in a position to where it was seemingly insurmountable. And he said, what would a black man know about using a word like that? He said that shit. He said it out loud. And that's where I learned what I couldn't do nothing, because I called a lawyer and I'm like, I'm finna get that damn house he got over there. Oh no, it don't work like that. The lawyer wouldn't even listen to me, wouldn't even talk to me about it, because we had less than 15 employees. This was not a major dealership. This was a small dealership. But I could have been stupid. How could you let yourself, nigga, when you I'm a hustler, my boy. You understand? I have a hustler's mentality. Yeah, I've said this on previous podcasts that I used to sell dope. And when you got that in you, you are a hustler when you decide to stop doing that. And I'm a hustler. Don't nothing get in the way of my bag. Not no police change, not no detectives, not nothing get in the way of me in the bag. I don't care how, I just know how he is. So what I did was I started learning what he knew. I found out who his distributors were for them go-karts. And I used that to fuel, and the money that I was getting paid, I didn't go out and spend it like an idiot. I kept some of it. And I opened my own shit next door to him. And when he was out there trying to sell go-karts, I was a much better salesperson in anything I'm selling. I was selling more go-karts sight unseen because he had a bad reputation. And I went to a different vendor and got a better line. So I'm selling those sight unseen off of an iPad to get the money in to pump this business. So I learned from this man. I had 4 houses that I bought from tax because I went behind them. They thought I was there for him. No, I bought them. I paid the cash money and I didn't have to, and I bypassed the auction. So I bought those 4 houses, ended up selling those 4 houses, turning a quick 20,000. So no, sir. No, sir. I will never subscribe that race and white man got his foot on my neck. If it wasn't for the white man, and I hate to say this, but it is true, I would not be in any kind of position that I am in now. I learned from them. Period. It's all about your mindset and what you're willing to learn to do. You can either be a victim or you can be a survivor. I chose to be a survivor.
All right. That was good. I like that. Look at Pills and Ibiza. I always see this guy around and always dropping the same thing everywhere. Listening to your vernacular, Malcolm X would be turning in his grave. You say the same things, bro. I've seen you on many streams. It's a little embarrassing. Come on.
Who?
Pills and Ibiza.
What did he say?
This person.
Oh.
And he always starts off with this one. Just listening to you and Bazil is the exact reason why Plato was against democracy. Same things over and over. But we are going to go on to a reaction video. I want you guys to
I wish he would come up. I wish he or she would come up on this stream so I could embarrass him. I go toe to toe with him quick.
Okay. All right. So this is from the Lapif Network, the Lapif Let's Talk show. This is Anton giving his thoughts on Black culture and why he thinks Black culture is trash.
Largely able to overcome so many obstacles because I started to stop worrying about what other people perceive me as and start focusing on the results. And I don't see anybody here having a conversation about what it is that we need to do differently. We're just concerned about what other people think of us. And that's the same mindset and the same strategy and tactics that have us in the same space that we're in today. Because it reminds me of my family back in the day, in that they were more concerned about whether or not the neighbors perceived us as negative, and they were less concerned about whether or not they were actually trash and doing trash things. And so we act like the world don't already see us. We act like Amira can't see this program and that she haven't been watching it prior to her getting on the program, as though it changes the dynamic or the narrative of anything. And instead of us trying to observe and try to meld the two cultures to see what it is that we can learn from each other, we're trying to put words in her mouth. Rilla is talking for her. All of this other nonsense, she can speak for herself. And I said what I said. Our culture is still trash, and it hasn't changed. And y'all not saying anything to the contrary. Only thing y'all saying is,
Danielle, I want to start with you.
What you want me to say?
What do you feel like saying?
I don't know what Black culture is to say that our culture is trash.
Okay. So
when I hear that, I be confused.
So you don't think Black people have a culture?
No.
Okay. John, what do you think?
He just said the exact same thing that I just said. The exact point that I was just making. That I agree with him. Quit worrying about what people think about you, and you worry about the results. Quit worrying about am I keeping it 100? You know how many people I done heard leave a damn job talking about, I'm gonna keep it 100. You feel me? I'm gonna keep it 100. I'm gonna keep it 100. Like you just got every opportunity in the damn world. You just marketable as shit. You got a high school education, a felony, and somebody took a chance on your ass.
Hey,
and you talking about you gonna keep it 100. I'm gonna keep it 100, man. You know what I'm saying? I'm living for the hood. Man, you better get out of here.
All right. Let's watch a little bit more on that.
we shouldn't put it on in front of everybody else. Do they do it in your culture? So on and so forth. What's the real result? What's the real issue that y'all have a problem with, other than the fact that y'all didn't like the fact that Amira was shooting 10 for 10? She didn't miss one shot yesterday. And y'all gonna get mad at me for saying that she didn't miss a shot, instead of getting mad at the fact that y'all was missing shots all night long and y'all couldn't defend your points and she was racking it.
Oh my God, Anton. Speaking real facts. Rap culture is a huge problem. Rap culture is a huge problem.
Parenting is a huge problem.
So yeah, that's
because rap culture has no effect on no child if the parents are doing their job. Because the last time I checked, kids don't pay cable bills. A child can only do what you let them do. And you can talk, well, when he go to school, okay, you haven't armed them before they went to school. You was too busy pacifying them. When you raise that child to know who they are, everything else don't matter. Nothing else matters. They don't care what their friends think. They don't follow the in crowd. They follow themselves. And then a leader is born. Parenting. That's the first step. Parenting. Input, output. What you put in is what they're going to manifest. A child is born in this world knowing nothing. They know how to suck, grab, squeeze, cry, poop, piss. But as far as like cognitive, you develop that. Their temper, you shape that. Input, output. Just like a feral child will act just like its animal mother. It will not walk upright because it's never seen walking upright. It will not speak English. It has never heard a language. So if we know that about feral children and it's been 15 or 20 of them over time, then that tells us that children are programmed. And it starts with the parents.
It's funny because there was actually a study done where they were watching this cat who had a litter, but unfortunately that cat got hit by a car, so it couldn't use its back legs. So it only walk on the two, and all the whole litter. They never used their back legs. They just walked on the front two because that's all they saw the mother do. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I like that little reaction video. Anton is always speaking facts. That was actually a big heated argument that went on for quite a couple of weeks because he said black culture was trash, because he said everything that we're portraying is not exactly a positive thing. Like the things that we bolster up aren't positive things. We bolster up rappers and, we don't we put entertainers as our idols, entertainers and athletes, as opposed to, businessmen. And there are black businessmen out there, but for some reason, who gets a lot more of the attention is the entertainers and athletes.
But it's being pulled by a puppet master. Blacks don't control the media at all. And look at the bigger picture. What songs? Look up any commercial. Sprite commercials. They use rap music.
Yeah.
All right. When did they start doing that? About 8 years ago? 9 years ago? The media is manipulating way more than what you think. And when I say media, I'm not just talking about news, fake news.
Social media.
Not just social media, all media. Any form of video reproduction is media. Social media is just you reproducing yourself, reproducing your thoughts amongst peers, posting your pictures and all this other stuff. Or and on YouTube, you have a media platform.
I'm talking more the marketing side of it, where they purposely pigeonhole you into watching certain sector of things.
Right.
Where you have to make the conscious effort to take yourself out of that.
Right.
For the most part, most people don't make that, especially if you're talking about young kids. I mean, my generation, we started out with cell phones in like high school. There's kids now that have iPhones by like 3, 4 years old, 5 years old. That's insane to me. Like that's
ask me what age did I give my child a phone?
I'm gonna say high school.
He never got a damn phone because he didn't learn to drive. He don't need a phone. What did he need a phone for? What did he need a phone for? What did he need a phone for? And you know who agreed with me? You know who did? You know who tried to fight me on it? His mama and my mama. But you know who made sense? Because he think like his daddy. Because I programmed him. He said, "What is that gonna do? What if it's a school shooting? They gonna say they ain't gonna let you come in. What, you gonna get shot and get me shot trying to take you saying they shooting?" He said, "Oh, laugh out loud. I'm getting stabbed to death. Help me." What you gonna do? You act like your response time is like instant. Bewitched. I'm there. No. All you got is an electronic distraction. a mode to send sex messages. Bro, it's an adult at that school. I don't know if you knew this. Fun fact: kids are not allowed to be just roaming free in public schools without supervision. They just not, right? They have to be accounted for at all times. At no point you go to school and say, "Where's my child?" They need to know. So what they need a phone for? Well, he played football. He got a coach. I know how long the practice is. And I'm his daddy. I'm going to get him. I'm not in a hurry. I'll go there and I'll wait for him to finish. Like any other parent, especially dads.
Parent should.
I don't care. I'll be there. No worries. And the practice is a mile away from the house. He can walk. At the time, the boy 6'5", 225-pound quarterback.
God damn.
He can walk home. And I've made him walk home several times. So, and
nothing's
he
gonna
don't
happen
need
to
a
him.
phone.
6'5".
Ain't nobody gonna mess with that boy. Boy look like he a teenage man. Ain't nobody gonna mess with him.
Yeah.
He friends with everybody. Everybody like him. He got homeboys that'll walk with him. But the point is, he didn't need a cell phone, and I wasn't wasting my time getting one. None of my boys have cell phones, especially the young ones. They don't have a cell phone. They have to go to an adult and ask the adult. I say I need to use the phone. And so that's what I'm saying. I don't get those kind of phone calls. Your son has been sending dick pics.
It's actually better for their memory as well, too, just because now they actually have to do I had to start doing, which was remember numbers, remembers people's numbers.
Right.
Keep it in your head.
Exactly.
That's all you could do back in the day when you had to pick up the dial or pick up the phone and actually like dial. Now, fun fact, before we go on to the next question.
Go ahead.
You know, nowadays, like, we used to do this back in the day. Kids now do this to simulate their iPhone.
What?
Like, yeah, they simulate they're on the phone. They do it like this. We used to do this.
And now they do what?
This. Because that's how phones are now. Crazy, right? Crazy.
Because this right here would be the top round part. This is the bottom round part.
Exactly.
Now they just do this.
Now they just do this.
If you,
it's like
okay, back in my day, if you did this, that means you couldn't hear me. If you did this, I start yelling at you. I said, "Come on."
That's when you ask them.
I'm on the phone, like, hang up.
Yeah, it's weird, man. It's weird. But listen, on to the next question for the panel. You guys have been great. Love it. Is it asking too much for lower income areas to educate themselves to get out of bad situations? Is it asking too much? I forgot to add people. For people in low income areas to educate themselves to get out of bad situations. John, let's start with you. I know Danielle's going to agree with you right after you talk.
Not necessarily, but
we'll see. All
right. It's not too much to ask, but given the dynamic in most low-income areas, who are they going to ask? Somebody's going to have to come forward that knows and volunteers, like me and the idea that I propose to you, because I'm aware of this. I mean, nobody's going to, like, who knows how to?
I mean, okay, so now we're talking about. I already see the own fallacy in my thought process, but I'm still going to shoot it out anyway. We're talking about people that have the internet in their pocket. Even in impoverished areas, everyone has a cell phone. Everyone has a means to education.
Mm-hmm.
Google, YouTube, hell, even Bing, if you want.
And you might find one. You might find one or two. You might find, I don't know how many you'll find. I'm speculating, but you may find someone who will come up with a plan that's feasible and work the plan and get out of there. But you got to understand what is being reinforced in that type of environment. You got to understand low income areas, there is a rule. There are rules. There is a code. There's a code that they live by. And the same things, that's why I told you when we were on the phone, conventional psychology, well, we were actually on here. Conventional psychology has not really fully understood the difference between the dynamics between the socio-economic societies, right? That is better for explaining maybe middle class and above. But when you're talking about at poverty level or below, that's a whole different dynamic. That's a whole different setup. Because you and I both know that if you're impoverished, you're not going to live the same way somebody's going to live who has enough money to pay bills and go on vacations and everything. So let's look at it from that perspective. If you've never went on a vacation in your life, you've never left anywhere outside of that hood, then how are you going to know to look for what to look for? What are you going to Google? Because right now, the biggest influences you have are the people the key adults that you see, the ones who do work. Let's say you have good parents and they don't allow you to be exposed to a whole lot. You're not allowed to hang out just anywhere. So you're not subject to me running into the games, both parents at home. Okay, that's all well and good. Well, it depends on the mindset of the father, and it depends on the mindset of the mother. If the mother is keep teaching you that you can't do nothing because you black, then you're gonna live like you can't do nothing. She's oppressing you. You're being oppressed.
Mentally putting yourself in the box already.
Yeah, like you put yourself in the box. You can get out of that situation. Period. But somebody's gonna have to, you're gonna get nurtured. You got to get nurtured that way. Like somebody has got to teach you how to think with a growth mindset. Somebody's got to bring that to the table. Or this, none of this, all of this, these questions, I mean, they are possible, probable, they're very improbable. Possible, but improbable. Because the knowledge is just not there. If you want to know how to smuggle dope, you can find that. If you want to know how to flip a bird, you can find that. If you want to know how to find a bird, you can find it. But something as simple as taking those same concepts and removing the bird and placing a house, a car, something of value where you can increase your audience or potential clientele and tell them about it because you won't go to prison for it. It's just not there.
You know what? Let Danielle. Danielle, I want you to chime in before I start talking. I agree with John.
Well, yeah, because I mean, when I read the question, I was like, I don't think it's too much to ask for them to learn, but who's gonna teach them? Like, that was how I felt too. Like,
so,
and then even having a phone in your hand, people can't spell. People not only can they not spell, they can't speak. So even if you spoke into your phone, you might not come up with the right thing because what you're saying is not. It don't sound right.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know.
I think the fact that we have so much distraction inhibits us from being able to think outside of the box. We don't actually get time to sit by ourselves and think about how to get out of our problems. We like to escape by hopping onto social media, by playing a game on our phone, by doing something to distract us from back in the day, people got so much more done in their lives because they didn't have as much distraction or as readily available distraction as we do now.
You have more involved parents.
Yeah, more involved parents, but again,
there was more involved parents.
But there was still less even because right now, even if you have an involved parent, a phone will still take a kid's attention away from the parents right away.
Nah, that's not true. Because my kid got a phone, and if I'm talking to my child, you can't have your phone.
That's what I was just about to say.
If the parent is involved, then yes, of course, the parent.
That's what I meant when I said an involved parent. I ain't talking about a parent where the child is raising them. I'm talking about a parent who's actually raising the child.
Okay.
Because when I
Nowadays,
speak,
though,
you put the phone up.
nowadays that just doesn't happen. You just have the parents that are there, and they're loving parents, but they're probably not as involved. So the kid is being raised by the media, and you just literally went over how bad the media is for you because it's programming you, and now you're sitting on your phone watching all that stuff, taking in all that bad information, and you're never actually thinking about how you can progress your life. You're always thinking about what Cardi B is doing, what Offset is doing, what
How can I
Jada
be
Pinkett
like the baby? I'm for
and
real.
how Will Smith and
Right.
Jada is, you know, not liking sex, love, and goop. But that's really just it. There's just too much distraction, I think.
I mean, there's some distraction, but like I said, it's a whole different set of rules in the hood. Meaning, when I say this, you gotta understand something, man. That means that what motivates me is not the same thing that motivates little Johnny down the street. Little Johnny that's living in this middle class neighborhood. You can take, I'll put it to you. What I like using analogies and telling stories. So you got Sam, April, and Mac. Sam, April, and Mac. Sam is rich, lives on this side of town. April, she lives on this side of town, middle class neighborhood. And then you got Mac. Mac is just straight poor. You feel me? Lives in the heart of the ghetto. When Mac wakes up, he's not sure what he's going to eat. He does not know where his dad is. His mother is working 2 jobs, so she's tired. He gets himself ready. He's been raised to lay his own clothes out and do all this stuff. He has great intentions, but he's growing up in a home where he needs somebody to help him with homework because he has other things on his mind that are more important than even watching TV. Because every other week, the lights get turned off for at least 2 or 3 days until mom get paid from one of the other jobs. This is like a real situation.
Yeah, I know.
And so he don't really care about watching TV. He's learned to cope. He does not have a cell phone because his mama can only get a phone for her. Since she works 2 jobs, it's not important for him to have a phone. She has a home girl who checks on him because she has to leave him there by herself at night. He has no one to hold him accountable for any actions, but he tries to be a good kid for his mom. Now, it's a good kid. I'm not even gonna make him a bad kid. He's a good kid.
Yeah.
He has no one to help him when he struggles with homework. So what do you think? Now, then we move over here to April. April, middle income, both parents are in the home. She knows she's going to get breakfast. She doesn't have to worry about the same things he's worried. She always feels a sense of security. She always feels safe. She always knows that if she needs help with her homework, no problem. Then you got the rich kid. The rich kid, both parents are there in the house, but dad travels a lot. He has a nanny. The nanny was chosen to pay attention to him. He sees mom do what she want to do, all this, that, and the third. But he also has a tutor who helps him with his homework, who helps him with his ACT, who helps him with all these extra things. He goes to scholars camp in the summer, but also does April. He can't now. Matt can't afford to go. Who the hell you think gonna have the best opportunity in life when they start graduating and going to high school? Who's gonna get into the better college? Both of the other two. Who might not get into college at all? Mac. Who may fall victim to gang activity? Mac. That's the reality.
Proximity.
He ain't thinking about buying no damn house. He ain't thinking about investing. He is thinking about trying to get out of the situation, but he has nobody to show him how to do it. Nobody. And
Do you think that's the majority?
Man, it's a large number, bro. It's a large number, bro. It's a large number between having ratchet parents that are just bad people anyway, and then being raised in a bad situation, and then being, and then maybe having a dad who's been in prison, stuff like that. You got all these other factors that are working against this kid, but so somebody's gonna have to come to them and not the other way around. But them trying to think about coming out of it, I just don't see it. I don't see it. It was a kid up there by you who was living in the hood, deep in the hood. Mama worked 2 jobs, but she had help. And it came from the unlikeliest of people. The gangs, which street gangs, let's get something straight. Street gangs was not originated to terrorize people and just go around and commit crimes and all of that. They were developed in neighborhoods to protect that neighborhood and police it.
The protection, yeah.
Exactly. So when this little boy, when they found out, got wind of how smart he was and how well he was doing in school despite his circumstances, they issued the order. Don't nobody bother this kid. They would walk, some would walk with him to school. You couldn't touch him, wasn't no fighting him, you wasn't no bullying him. You had bad problems if you did. His mom got help from them. This kid ended up going to Harvard on a full ride scholarship with a stipend. So he's well on his way. But his mother, he was probably blessed with some, some good genes because a lot of your intelligence comes from genetics. And his environment was as stable as it could be, but it couldn't be much stable. He didn't have both parents in the home.
Yeah.
But he had other people that made it easier for his mother, made it easier for him, and he had protection. He didn't have to go through all that. He didn't experience all that bullying and all this other stuff. He had people who he could move around in his environment safely, and he knew that. So he was allowed the opportunity to grow. You understand what I'm saying?
It doesn't make sense.
So when he was able to do all that, his intelligence could shine.
Yeah.
And then he got out.
He got to learn in a lot more of as opposed to not actually focusing on your work and just getting it done to get it out of the way. You felt safe in a comfortable environment to fail and learn the proper way.
But that little boy did not have a victim mindset. And I promise you, a lot of them gangsters was telling them, you don't want to do this. You can go do this. You can do that. You can do all these things. Don't be like us. Don't be like us. Don't follow that. Because I know how gangsters are. Gangsters don't bully kids. Gangsters will protect kids over anything. They'll protect them. Because when you live in that hood,
you remember the fear.
Yeah, when you live in that hood, bro, you're a part of the family. You're a part of that village. So they were keeping him grounded. I'm sure he was. I'm sure they were. So, but he was able to come a success story.
I'm going to switch the
that's
question
not
around a little
normal.
bit. I'm going to switch the questions around a little bit. So I'm going to throw this question at both of you guys right now. All right. Kind of touching on what you just talked about. Can someone from the outside help being from the outside? Can someone from outside the impoverished areas help those in get out? Can someone from outside the impoverished areas help those in it get out? Meaning, if you're not part of that gang culture, if you are someone that wanted to buy businesses inside of the ghetto, would that be looked upon from the people in the ghetto? Like, would that be looked upon in a good light from the people in the ghetto?
Yeah, it'll be a positive light.
Okay, so
it depends on how you conduct yourself in the ghetto. Like I said, it's different rules, bro. Like you can't come in there and start. Let me tell you what you're not gonna do. You're not gonna come in there and start acting like you've been here this whole time. I promise you that. They'll shut you down.
Well,
they're strengthening all numbers. Like I'm serious. Like how you move is gonna dictate if your business survive being in the hood. I'm not even joking. Those guys who have stores that are in the hood, I talk to them guys, but they know how to move. They know how to talk. They know about respect. Respect is a big thing when you're talking about the hood. If you want it, you're gonna have to give it. And the minute you start being disrespectful, they will show you that business don't have to be here. We'll make you file insurance claims every night. Every time you build it back, we burn it back down.
Are we talking disrespect as in how disrespect is perceived by them, or are we talking general blanket statement disrespect?
Both.
So now that's where I find it a little confusing, because how as a newcomer are you going to know what they deem as disrespect?
Watch. Hire somebody in your store that knows that hood, somebody that's got respect there, and a lot of those guys do that. A lot of those guys will hire somebody to sweep the parking lot that's gonna put them on game. Yeah. They watch you. Gangsters will sit back and watch how you move. Like, are you running this homeless dude away from here? You never try to feed him, nothing. But you're gonna get all this money and take it out the hood and go and do all. No, you're not fixing to move around like that. You're not fixing to move in this neighborhood like that.
They move like that in my neighborhood.
They do.
Yeah, I think that's a southern thing that you're talking about. Because up here, businesses are not respectful.
No,
they
ain't never been respectful.
They're not talking about feeding no homeless. I remember one time I saw a guy. Me and my cousins was getting some food at a Coney Island, and this guy was about to eat out the trash. Like, I almost collapsed. I'm like, don't eat out the trash. Just come order what you want. So I took him up to the counter, and the guy like, don't order no food for him. He don't need that. I said, yo, did you just see him about to eat out the trash? Like, if anybody needs some food, he do. You can't tell me what to do with my money. Like, order what you want, and I'm gonna pay for it. Like, he needs to eat. But that's not common for a person to step up for a person that's homeless and hungry here. In the North, we don't look out for each other like that.
Yeah, that's different. That's a southern thing. Plus, gas stations here don't have all that protection around them. Like, they don't have them glass bulletproof cages. Like, you can get hands put on you. So you kind of move a little differently here. I know how those stores are up there because I used to take them Fago Pops back there and get a dime for them or a nickel or whatever it was. Yeah. So, yeah, they move different.
That's crazy.
They move different.
I mean,
but you can look at it from a different perspective, not from a business perspective. Let's say, to really address the question, if someone from the outside of the impoverished areas help those in it, absolutely. But you still got to know how to move, and you got to know who's going to be worth your time. You understand? Because you can't invest your time as precious commodity. It's the most precious. It's the most valuable asset that you possess.
Yeah.
Now, if business or not, your time, you can, once you spend it, you can't get it back.
What I'm saying is, as a businessman, hopefully, if you're going into business, you understand that your time is a lot more valuable.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean,
but I look at it.
Oh, all right. I guess her phone probably died.
Yeah.
But yeah, oh, there she is. Long time no see. You lost your spot.
Okay.
So, once you could come in, but who goes in there and talks to them, to the community? Who does that?
In my
in general.
What I'm saying is, at this point in time, if we're all talking about changes need to happen,
and they do,
then we are going to have to start pulling our money in together and going into these neighborhoods and kind of trying to, hey, let's all work together to build this place up, as opposed to wait for another race of people to kick us all out of it.
Hence EBM.
Yeah, I think it's a great
The
idea.
EBM society, the elite black men society. Qualifications to get in. You got to set the example. Period. And you need to focus on the young black boys and be a mentor. All these things. It's not going to be something that's easy. We're going to get people that don't want to be a part of it, and I'm cool with that.
Yeah, we want people that want to be there.
Yeah, I want people who want to be there to share their same passion. Because if you're not going to be, an activist for the future, you're still you're part of the current problem.
Agreed.
Because you're allowing people like LeBron James and other athletes and then movie stars to have an influence on, man, stop selling them dream tickets, bro. Man, these are special cases where these guys go pro. You spend all this time, you should be studying and doing something else. You're not going to go pro, especially basketball. You got a better shot at going pro playing football than you do basketball. If you're a position other than a running back. And if that's all you want to play, then good luck with that.
I mean, they have the lowest out of all sports. They have the lowest.
They are the lowest paid. They are the lowest paid.
Lowest paid, as well as your body doesn't last that long.
No, average
average
running back retires in 3 years. You cannot keep taking those licks to the knees like that. So at best, and in the NFL, don't have guaranteed contracts unless you're a star. So if you were drafted, and this is about where somebody, if you want to get, where I made the team, if you were drafted in the 6th or 7th round, you're in the 100,000s. Like you didn't even get $1 million contract. Or let's say you got the league minimum. You didn't get a signing bonus worth talking about, right? Okay. Yeah, but that's a lot of money. That's a lot of money. You gotta understand, some kid, you're a pro athlete. You're fixing to pay 1/4, not even a fourth, probably a 32nd or 8th of your salary to be trained by an elite trainer. If you ever want to get a decent contract or even remain on the team. Like this whole thinking you're gonna work out on your own, that's for the birds. You're gonna have to have a chef who knows how to prepare your meals. You gotta have all these expenses. You gotta pay up your rent. You gotta be able to go and work out in the off season. You gotta do it all over again. You might be paying salaries out just in salaries for you to stay at that level about $100,000 each year, each season. So for you not getting a signing bonus, that's a big deal. I watched a documentary on these guys on the things they have to pay for.
And that's what I'm saying. Is that fact that like those are the people that are bolstered up as the monoliths.
Right. And most of them do not know this type of struggle. No. You only hear a few of them that come from the ghetto, like really in the hood. And then what do they do when they come back to the hood? Besides get in trouble and manifest what they were already manifesting in the hood. How many NFL players come back and they re-up with Pookie Duke and go out and get caught with birds, pounds and pounds of weed? You're a whole millionaire. You out here slanging weed? What is wrong with you?
Just what you know. It's comfort.
But now you just reinforced this kid over here to want to go just so he can do that. That's why I've never agreed for athletes. They can't speak for us.
No.
Like, you're not talking to the black community. You got a athlete that man, he can't speak for the black community, man. He can speak for himself.
That's why Kevin Samuel usually says like rappers, entertainers, and athletes just don't come into the high value because they get their money different. Their money doesn't work the same as regular people who have to scale businesses to become high value.
Exactly.
Their money comes fast and a lot of it at a time, but it also goes just as fast.
Because you didn't have to work for it.
Yeah.
Why you think I forget what the number is, but I think like 72% of players who become rich through athletics go file bankrupt.
That's
It
a
might even be higher. It
ridiculous
might even
fine.
be higher than that.
That's a
And the most,
ridiculous fine number.
and guess what? If you broke it down by race, it would be something like 90% are black.
Yeah, it's not surprising, unfortunately. And the crazy thing is that's what hey kids aspire to be this thing, which
Which is broke after their career is over.
coming out of it, you still might just end up right back where you are, as opposed to get a trade or stick
So
to school or pick a subject that you're good at and work hard at that. Like different
which
things.
which further supports a lot of the comments that we saw tonight, which was mindset. Mindset. You can take him out of the ghetto, but you can't take the ghetto out of him, which means his mindset. Look at Shaq. Look at the ones who didn't have that kind of mindset, who always had a growth mindset. Shaq was a superstar. LeBron was a superstar. Is a superstar. Michael Jordan was a superstar, way better than LeBron would ever be. Okay, I'm gonna shoot that shot out there. And for people to make that comparison, you retarded.
Wait, say that again.
Bruh, Michael Jordan, LeBron is not the player Michael Jordan was. He will never be that. He does not have that clutch factor. He don't have his clutch factor. He don't have that. One person could change the whole damn dynamic of the game, and LeBron can't do that. He's surrounded by superstars, and get out of here, bro.
They hold him up.
Get out of here, bro.
The reason why, I watched The Last Dance, and it really kind of clicked to me. Michael Jordan was just about to start blooming, bro. Like he just understood how to play with his teammates.
Yeah.
When they disbanded that whole team, he just understood the value of having other star players around you. Man, if they did not disband, what was that? The Bulls?
Yeah, they would have won another one.
They would have. I think far more than that, man. I think far more than that.
Because could nobody stop them? Even that last year, they went. I think they only lost like 6 games or 7 games, something like that. I mean, they were unstoppable. They were unstoppable. But look at these guys' investments. Michael Jordan was a basketball player who never made more than $200 million in any given season, and has a net worth of $2.4 billion.
He was smart about his investments.
Look at Shaq. Shaq has a net worth of $600 million. Shaq owns the rights to Elvis Presley. He owns the rights to a lot of different people. He owns Papa John's.
Yes, I didn't know
he
that.
Owns man, he has some unrealistic Rick Ross. Rick Ross owns Wingstops, all of them. And when there was a shortage of wings, he changed up the whole game and said, we serving chicken legs and thighs.
You know who else?
But he owns a bunch of Wingstops.
George
They
Foreman.
have invested there. Yeah. George Foreman.
You know, he actually bought up massive amounts of property in Florida.
I bet he did.
A lot of land, actually. But there's also Sweet Pea Pernell Whitaker became a drug addict and spiraled downwards.
But now I'm fixing to throw some other numbers at you. I just named you some players and some people. And Tiger Woods, he's back up to $1 billion again, right?
Of course he's gonna be, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so now let's talk about the Carters. Beyonce now. They worth $1 billion. Oprah Winfrey's worth billions. Okay. Now, if they were Latino and we were all Latino, we would be, bro. You would have a Black Wall Street. You would have because Latinos know how to band together.
Yep.
The same. See, and here's what's such beauty. We don't have to have any type of rules to keep others out. We just have to have a place where your black scholars can go because they don't want to be around us. But they would at one point desire to be around us because our mindset is so screwed up. Black people would rather see a black scholar and disrespect them rather than go and learn from them. Black people would rather have a medical doctor who is all the way black, all the way licensed, board certified, and then you castigate him, challenge his authority, challenge his knowledge, because you're not used to seeing someone know that much information about science. Oh, he's black. There's no way. Or
There's no way.
you're worse than a fucking white person.
Yeah.
You are worse than white people. We can be worse than white people against our own people. You can know that this hospital is predominantly black and avoid it. You can know that there's several black insurance salesmen, but you won't talk to him. He ain't coming his black ass in my house, steal everything.
Do you think that's also programming, though?
Yes, it's programming because you have no fucking identity. Because in Africa, why do you think Nigerians come over here and they're so much fucking better than black men that live here? They make no excuses. They come in this bitch ready to ride.
African.
They don't really care about having a girlfriend. They come focused. They're locked in. They have respect for their dad. They have respect for their mom. They are parented differently. And they come and they take the engineering jobs. They come and take the surgeon jobs, the other physician jobs. They don't come here and struggle. When you seen a Nigerian in a line with a fucking food stamp card, I want to know.
Never that.
When have you ever seen a Nigerian that didn't have a damn job that was paying good?
You know, I want to throw a quick story real quick. My dad, he was working two jobs. One for his main port authority, was more of like a cleaning business, and then on the side he started working as a janitor in a giant hospital, Holy Name Hospital over here in New Jersey. He wanted to get into the technician's room actually and become like a surgical assistant. So he would mop the floors as quick as, and this is pretty recent. I'm talking this is a couple months ago. Mop the floors as quick as he can, and then he'd always go in there while they're working and keep asking them questions. The other janitors saw him. They were like, no shade at any Jamaicans or anything out there, but they were Jamaican. And a lot of them were just doing the bare minimum just to get by. Listen, we already got it done. We have another hour to finish the rest. Let's sit back. So my dad would always kill it, get it done quickly. And they actually resented him for that. But he still kept doing that. And after a while, they took him away from being a janitor and they started sticking him in there. Now they actually want to pay him to take him through school and give him a part-time job there. Because he took such an interest. He had no medical knowledge. None at all. He was literally showing me the YouTube videos that he's watching to try to understand what's actually going on. So it's a different level. Like the drive and the mentality is just it's insane sometimes because not a lot of people have that, I would say. It's definitely something you have to learn.
Let me tell you something. Vivian Thomas. Do you know who Vivian Thomas is?
Never heard.
Vivian Thomas is a black man, was a black man.
Vivian
is a black man. Vivian Thomas was a black man.
Man, huh?
Vivian Thomas grew up in a time through the Great Depression. Okay? Vivian Thomas was a carpenter by trade. A hell of a carpenter. Vivian Thomas took a job because the banks closed, took all his savings. The fact that he had savings let me know his mindset was somewhere else. It was on a whole nother fucking level. Okay, it was a different mindset. And he went and took a job cleaning out dog kennels at a hospital. Vivian Thomas took an anatomy and physiology book home, read the whole book. The doctor that he was working for came in and he was telling him, can you go do this? Or can you grab this? And he was shocked because Vivian knew what that was. And he said, well, have you tried this? The subclavian pulmonary vein. He said, what? Then the hell do you know about that? So he came in and he gave him classes on surgery. He saw that his hands was stable, no shaking whatsoever, right? Vivian Thomas is the reason that open heart surgery can be fucking performed, because he performed the first open heart surgery. Vivian Thomas is the reason that blue baby syndrome was relieved, because it was due to the vascular tissue not having the proper circulation, which causes this blueness in the face. The doctor consensus with all these heart experts was, if you open the heart, you will kill them. This is gonna ruin your career. Vivian Thomas talked this surgeon through it, and then he finished it. Vivian Thomas made the tools where you could grab veins. Vivian Thomas developed the stitching technique for arteries and veins, and the proper closing technique. Mindset.
You understood it all.
And he never went to fucking medical school or college. He learned hands-on and through his own diligence. Mindset. If your black ass want to memorize an entire rap from beginning to end, you can. But simple concepts like that will make you money is just too hard. Simple things that you can do to position yourself in life in a better position, I don't want to do that. Because you program for immediate gratification. I gotta see it right now. But people with a growth mindset, they know it's gonna be there. I just gotta get there. I know it's gonna be there. I just gotta get there. Before I even started trading options, I was broke as shit. Right here in this very apartment, I had enough money to cover what I need to cover, and I had to figure it out. And I just got fucking tired. I was like, man, there's got to be a better way than this. It's got to be a better, because I get a large enough stipend where I don't really have to work, but I won't really have any kind of lifestyle either. And I stayed up night after night after night, reading night after. You understand? I'm in a whole graduate program, and I studied that shit more than I studied for fucking exams. I made a damn C on the midterm because I did not care about that, because to me this had a shorter payoff right now than waiting for that degree. So I reprioritized what I wanted to do, and I said this right here. Then I started investing in crypto. I borrowed some money, and then I paid them back once I flipped what I need to flip. Paid them back. Matter of fact, I paid them back and then gave them some more, right? For putting me on, right? And I realized that eventually I was moving the same way I moved on the street. Because borrowing money is the same as getting fronted dope. So if I could get fronted dope and flip that, the way he fronted me, I flipped that and I paid him back. You feel me? Same difference. So I'm moving in that I'm moving with that mindset, but I'm using it for good. I understood it, then I started doing it. And the only reason that I took any type of other job is to increase my lines of revenue, because it's work from home. It won't stop me from trading. Any 2 times it would have came in front of me trading, I would not do it. But I'm gonna have a nice ass vacation next summer. Nice, any fucking where I want to go. You can believe that. Any fucking where I want to go. Anywhere I want to go. I've been sitting up looking at cars that I'm thinking about buying, but I can't pull the trigger on the car. You know why? Because you know what always tells me, and I actually need a car. My car is 17 years old. Like, man, why you riding around in it? Because the motherfucker run. What
Still
you mean?
runs. Still runs.
Man, man, that car old though, bro. Oh, I'm sorry. Who am I fucking trying to impress? You want to fucking you want to bounce? You want to front some checkbooks or some bank accounts, motherfucker? You want to go there? You want to go there?
Big bank take little bank.
Because I promise you, I'll buy that piece of shit you driving right now, and I ain't gotta write you a check. I just go to the ATM machine. I got a high ass daily withdrawal limit. A car is a means to a fucking end. It does not define who the fuck you are. It's a car. If we both got to go to 3 hours from here, my car make it, your car make it. You pull it up in this $100-some-thousand fucking car, and I pull it up in my goddamn piece of shit. We both got there. Where you better at? How you better? We both got there. Gas mileage the same. How are you better?
We're gonna wrap it up. All right, I'm gonna wrap it up tight. We don't want no pregnancies tonight, okay? Last question to the panel, guys. Last question. Do impoverished urban areas need reforming? Can it be reformed?
Define reforming.
Built up. Made better.
What I mean by, I know the definition. I'm talking about in what method. Like, do you a lot of times when you say reform, immediately first word popped in my mind was political.
Okay.
No.
No, I'm talking in it doesn't just have to be political. You could see it as political if you want, if you see that would be the biggest change. I don't think so.
I think it can be. Impoverished area, hell yeah, it can be built up. It can be built up, but not from a political sense. It's not even going. There's no motivation for a politician to build an area up. This is just a bunch of fucking lies. There's a bunch of fucking lies. Political people have what? What do political people have?
Agendas.
And money. Takes money to run for presidency or any other office. So they have no real vested interest in no fucking poor neighborhood. The property value is low. You're killing each other. Fuck that. That's a bad investment.
So how would you go about it?
I come in. You gotta changing the mindset.
Wait.
What?
Danielle. Let's go to Danielle. We haven't heard you in a while. Do impoverished urban areas need reforming? Or can it be reformed?
They do. I have some ideas. I don't know if they will work, but I do want to try.
Okay. Are you comfortable sharing any of them?
I'm comfortable sharing all of them.
Okay. Let me hear
it. My first business that I'm working on right now is reentry homes, because those people get paid a lot of money. You get paid a lot of money when you're dealing with certain groups of people coming from prison, people coming out of foster homes. They pay those businesses lots of money. And so I want to get that money and reinvest it in those people, helping them get trades, helping them learn things, just like I would approach a person at my job and ask them things. When I get those people in those homes, I'm going to introduce them to things and try to get their minds interested in different things. And whoever gravitates to it does, and whoever doesn't, so be it. Once I get that money, I said I do want to invest it in properties in those neighborhoods to help increase the values in those neighborhoods, and then be able to sell it back to those men that got those trades that would be comfortable in those areas. I would try to get those men to also talk to the younger men, because we need mentorship programs back in those neighborhoods. So since those men know how to move in that area and could, have some effectiveness, because since they came from where they came from and did what they did to go to jail, unfortunately, they have respect in those neighborhoods and will be listened to and wouldn't be looked at like you looking down on me or you showing me something that is not possible. So I would want those men to have mentorship programs and go back and mentor the younger guys to show them that's not the way to go. This is something that you can do. Then I would want to reach the younger kids until I can make my boarding school that I was telling you guys about. I would want to find a way to introduce Kumon into the elementary schools so that they can have better literacy and math skills. Because if you can read better and have math better, you just think better in general. You have a better positive outlook of yourself. It doesn't seem so impossible. If you can read, possibly it would make you want to go and read something different. And then when they leave elementary school, they would go into these mentorship programs with men who are showing them the different things to do. So I want to start with the men and use what is hindering us to make us better, and then empower those men to reach back and make a change with the men coming up. And then I will want to reach further back and get the children when they still have big minds and big dreams to make it more possible for them to be able to actually attain those things.
Yeah.
Once I make enough money, like I said, I want to get a boarding school because I have friends who were very intelligent, but when they went home, their home life did not encourage education. They wanted that positive gratification. They weren't taught that it was a good way to go. They were hungry. They didn't have utility. And so I would like to take those type of kids and put them in boarding schools where they don't have to worry about food. They don't have to worry about light. They don't have to worry about somebody talking down on them because they want to be intelligent. They're in an environment where they can thrive.
They can just be.
Yeah.
That's good.
You know what? That it sounds like EBM need EBW, elite black women.
No, serious.
For real.
Serious. Honestly, as she was saying that, I was literally thinking the same thing. I'm just like, wow, that's.
Yep, I'm serious. Have a we can all meet. We talk about because here's the thing. If procreation, family, as defined by husband, wife, and children, needs to be those type people that you allow into it. Somebody is a professional or is working on a professional degree or finished that professional degree. You have to be around people, because the whole purpose is to be able to have people that you'll be able to create a strong network for support. And because what's going to happen eventually, you expand this out to where how people have deals with prison systems to hire certain. You get these connections to where you're churning out scholars who are literally going to college, graduating right into a position that pays decent. You have kids who like for you, Clement, once you become a plumber, you can start a PHP program, a plumber's helper program, to where these kids are getting trained to become plumbers and work with plumbers and like an apprenticeship. And then I was thinking about having an online school, but I also might do a school that focuses on financial literacy, learning how to invest, learning how to trade stocks, learning how to trade options. Like these are the type classes you're taking. You understand what I'm saying? A lot of those classes I'll be teaching.
That already.
She did.
Yeah, her name is Ashley Fox, and her program is called Amplify.
Really?
Yeah, she started off in Philly.
Can you drop that in the? Oh man, you're not.
I can. I watched her build this business, and it was just amazing how fast it grew. She started in Philadelphia. She just recently left Philadelphia because she outgrew it. She started off like trying her best to get into one school. Once she got into one school and they saw how it was, she got more schools. She ended up going to different states. She went to prisons. She's done an awesome job.
Definitely send that to me, honestly.
Yeah.
Like, I really, I really love to try to reach out to that person if I can. You know what?
She is very reachable. She is still attainable. She is not like feeling like she's above anything.
She's not
really
okay.
And the whole point on this, like some of the concepts that we're gonna teach, there's gonna be I can put together and I'm pretty sure Unique will be glad to help me with this. I'm sure I can put together a psychology curriculum, and the whole purpose is to nurture that mindset. We're not going to talk about slavery. We're not going to talk about that. We're going to talk about 1 + 1 = 2, and that's what we're going to focus on. And when you get to 2, then we'll get to 4. When you get to 4, God damn it, you'll learn more. But we ain't gonna keep all this worrying about negative numbers and situations. We all positive around this bitch. We multiplying and we adding. That's what we doing. We not trying to divide and subtract. You're gonna learn how to work all the assignments with the young kids will be done as team activities, groups. Not gonna be one individual. It's gonna be groups. That's where you start churning that shit. Because if they start off at a young age, only working in groups, they move in a group, they work together in a pack, they learn, and you can structure that whole setting like that. You taught individuality when you were in school, but now they teach in medical school and other places like in graduate school, they put your ass in groups. When you're in nursing school, they put your ass in groups. It's not individual no more. But that's not to benefit you per se. It's to benefit that fucking instructor, because you can't have so many people that's done taking out student loans and they can't get through this fucking program. Or you finna help them get through this fucking program. I'm serious as hell.
No, I agree.
That's the way they go.
I understand.
People like a medical school, bro. You are not, bro. If you fail or drop out, it's because you just really didn't want to try, or maybe you just really shouldn't have been there.
I think
you slipped through the cracks, or you just a loning person.
I spoke to you a little bit about it, because how I would like to try to affect change is through what I do. Definitely talking to you more, and I spoke to you about being a business owner. I wouldn't be a plumbing business owner per se. I would be buying out businesses that are already there, flipping them to actually run well, and getting out a template so that every young man that comes in there has a way to move up the ladder. Here's what you're gonna do. You're gonna start with the hard stuff first, because we're gonna have to build your mentality, because that's what happened to me. When I first started plumbing, for the first 6 months, I hated my life. I hated everything about it. It was just lifting heavy pipes up 13 flights of stairs, cast iron pipes, no elevator, walking that crap up. It was just, you have to do the hard stuff first. You have to. It builds character. I heard it from Holes and Disney, and I thought it was a joke. But honestly, working on that hard crap really helped build my mentality and understand, okay, I can really do this. After that first 6 months of dread, I decided, okay, listen, I'm either going to keep suffering through this or try to make this something better. And the second I flipped my mentality, my paycheck skyrocketed. Because at that point, it was get my jobs done quick, and I'll go talk to mechanics. Oh, how'd you do that? How'd you do this? Would it make sense to do this? And then to a point where I was constantly bugging them over and over. Man, you just do this. And then they let me do the work now. And then they just stepped to the side. And then eventually I kept doing more and more work. They kept giving me more and more. Then they gave me a whole apartment to rough out. And then they gave me 2 whole apartments to rough out. And now it's like, okay, now I'm doing big jobs by myself. And this is still like year and a half in. Now I've gained that knowledge. I could do it for myself. Now I moved it over from New York City into New Jersey. Now I had to learn the sales aspect. Had to present myself in front of a customer, because I learned the technical aspect, which is honestly, that was the easier part. Learning the sales aspect and how to stand in front of a customer, what to say, how to Make them feel comfortable, make them bring down their walls, and make them understand what I'm saying.
Mhm.
Don't speak plumber. Speak like you're speaking to a 7-year-old. I don't need to tell them you got to get the Teflon tape and use a pro dope, and they don't need to hear all that. You're just going to confuse them. Tell them this is where it's leaking. This is what we need to do to stop it. Are you okay with that? Yes. Okay, that's it. Same thing those kids are going to have to learn. Same thing I don't care about making them technicians. I care about teaching them how to use their minds. I don't consider myself a plumber. I consider myself just a thinker. I go there. It starts here. It should be ending here. Somewhere in here, that's where the problem is happening. Let's deduce it down. It works to this point, works to this point, works to this point, stops right here. Okay, what's right here? Okay, that's the problem. Every single time, it's always worked that way. That's plumbing. It's thinking. And that's what I want to teach kids. You present yourself well and you be a thinker. You need to be able to take these skills outside of just a trade. You need to be able to move it through your life.
Mm-hmm.
And
that's why the students that come to you, they're gonna be went through my chess courses, because that will be a part of the curriculum. You will learn chess, period. Because chess is a thinking man game. You have to learn how to think before you move. And that's one thing you need to do as a person. Think before you move. Before you do anything, pull the trigger on it. Think it all the way through. Where's my queen? Where's my rooks? Where's my knights? How can I use this pawn to get a better position on his king? How can I sacrifice this pawn to take his queen? How can I hold him up here where he can't move so that I can bring my forces together and put him in a position where he has no other choice but to succumb to my will? It's a thinking man game, and you use it in life. That's all I've done. I've used, like, in the later part of my life, I've just played chess. I stopped playing checkers and I started playing chess. And when I started playing chess, I started winning. That's just the way that works. It's all about your mindset. And the problem with us as a whole community, we do not have a growth mindset overall, which means that's why you can't teach someone teamwork and cohesiveness if they don't have a growth mindset. Because why you want me to work with him? Motherfucker, because he better at this than you, and you can learn how to be just as good as him. But you're better at this than him. Y'all complement each other. That's why I got you two together. What else you want to know? Stop trying to be so reactive and worried, and learn how to be proactive and win.
guys, this was such an amazing talk. It really was. It really was. Like I think there was a lot of good discussion, a lot of good things talked about here for the Black community, for upcoming kids, really just for anyone that's actually going to be listening to this. And I think people are going to get a lot of valuable information out of everything that we've said. I think we're all going to make a pretty big change in the world, and I don't doubt that. I know I am. I plan on it.
Yeah,
I have my lazy days. I'm human.
I might not live to see the bigger picture, but I know I got a young bull out there that's going to bring another young bull up. And if that's where it all, the first thing to making change is to come up with an actionable plan and put it into action, and then keep it going. And once you keep it going, it can come out, because we can move into these areas that you're talking about, and we can make a difference. We can change the way the mindset is being developed in that area by first changing the mindsets of the parents. And if that means giving free parenting classes, I'll do it. If it means teaching, establishing, having my business, having my school where it caters to low income kids, have them get scholarships or whatever for the other for the academic portion of it. Developing curriculum that's centered around thinking, such as chess, critical thinking. Because see, when you develop a bunch of critical thinkers, that you find when you find a critical thinker that's good at math and science, you just made a doctor. Because that's all a doctor is a critical thinker that's good in the math and the sciences, and not so much the math, but definitely the sciences.
Yeah.
Hosting science camps in the summertime instead of trying to play a fucking sport. We're gonna have, we got teams here. We have scholar teams. Wait, what? Yeah, we have scholar teams. We place an emphasis on how fast a kid can solve a quadratic equation, how fast a kid can find the antiderivative of a slope, how fast a kid can solve using the binomial theorem, solve a problem, complete the square using the binomial theorem. That's what we care about, like, period. And when you start getting that, and the camps are absolutely free, I'll take the tuition and reinvest it right back into this beast, helping single mothers. That's why I was talking to Clement about. That's what elite black men do. I don't have to have a relationship with this woman to help her, but I don't want to just give her money, because that's not helping her. I want to nurture her. I want to give her what she needs to be successful for her child.
If she's working towards that.
Oh yeah, its qualifications has got to be met before they even can qualify to participate in the program. You understand what I'm saying? Like, period. Being a single mother is just one of them, but she needs to be working, cannot be on drugs, and all of that. And she's going to have to agree, and it's going to be a contractual agreement. Because I'm only wanting to help those who are willing to help themselves. I'm not out here trying to change a person who has a mindset, I just want something for nothing, and waste my time. That's a waste of time. Period. And when we get about, 10, 20, 30 guys in this group, we're going to be able to do some things.
Things are going to start moving. Things are going to be rocking.
Yeah, because when you limit the membership, huh?
I'm sorry. I'm just saying. I'm like, after all this talk, I'm very much like, well, I was already looking forward to my future, but and knowing that it's going to be incorporating working with others makes it a lot more enjoyable.
And see, that's just going to be the projects that me and you working on over here. That still do not change the fact of what we're going to be doing over there. You know where there is.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I know.
And the real estate that we're going to be buying over there, what we're going to do for that group of people, how we're going to come in and utilize their businesses as resources to accomplish ours and build a strong presence and improve that economy. See, you ain't got to, I mean, come on, man.
Oh, I don't trust me. I'm picking up what you're putting down, bro. We're here. But it has been a fantastic night, a fantastic conversation. I hope anyone still watching has had a good time, because I know I did. I had a really good time.
Yeah, I enjoyed it.
Yeah. And but let's close out the panel. Once again, thank you for watching CKQ Podcast. I'm your host, Clement. If you haven't already, hit that like button. Subscribe to the channel. We go live every Tuesday at 8:30 p.m. Eastern, where we take live callers, and we pretty much bring men and women on, and we talk about gender dynamics and how it plays into bigger society, how we can brainstorm answers, and how we would like to make a change to the world in every way we can. So come join our conversation sometime. But to a permanent guest on the panel, we got John.
You can find me at Black Wall Street Trading LLC on YouTube, and you can find me at John Cornelius 8770 on Instagram. Hit me up.
And we got Danielle.
Hello, my name is Danielle. You can find me on YouTube at My Sister's Keeper. And you can find me on Instagram at Fly Nurse Mom Wife. Always being positive and speaking about solution, not so much problems.
Ladies and gentlemen, it has been an amazing night of conversation, an amazing night with these two people. I learned a lot. I hope you learned a lot. Until then, though, we are going to call it a night, and we'll see you next time.
MJ on the beat, ho.
They know they shouldn't have let me start speaking my mind in the booth. Start speaking the truth. Might get shot for it, but MLK did too.
Look to the sky, ask God why. Innocent lives have to die. One thing I know, a flower will grow once you plant the seed inside your soul.
Now we could paint the perfect picture without belittling each other. Cause under God's system we really one another's brother. And the system set up just to make one another struggle. Work it out like we gaining muscle. I done seen Flint, Michigan in the inner cities. They pissing in project buildings that got a roof that leaks, resulting in missing ceilings. Hard to sleep. Children going to schools dealing issues deep. Teacher got the nerve to ask what's the feeling. He got up and started lashing out. See, it's a start. Physical display and mental destruction. Yeah, now that's the art. Politicians, government instructing you to do your part. It ain't hard to see they trying to keep black in the back, just like Rosa Parks. Cops shooting blacks as if they get a token.